I think we forgot to mention the most important brick of a foundation. It's God. God is love. And when your relationship foundation is found based on God, because I would say we connected not because of, oh girl, I like her body, or oh he fine and his it's sweatpants season. It was more
The
of
size of your head. I was like, dang, that's a big head. Let me, try and help you out. And so since then, it just kind of took over. And we've been like this. That wasn't it. No, oh, sorry. Go ahead. What was you saying?
mm, love bears all things.
What's going on, guys? This is the first video for our new YouTube channel called Get to the Meat. And it sounds a little funny when you say it out loud, but the reason why we chose that title is because you got a lot of people beating around the bush, whether it's in regular life or about the faith, and it's kind of just barely touching topics, or you hear some simple topics talked about over and over and over again, and people get tired, people don't get fed. So the whole purpose of this channel is to get to the meat. So many people are on the milk of the word, or the milk of or the milk level of their faith, and a lot of people are hungering for answers, hungering for knowledge, wisdom, insight, things that can make them walk straighter in their path and walk in more righteous ways. And there are a lot of ways to get to know God on deeper levels. So the whole purpose is to help people in all aspects of the faith, whether it's, relationship, marriage, dating, studying the scriptures, maybe even language, or just anything related to the faith and the scriptures, or even apologetics. The purpose is to dive deeper into those things. So, one of the first things that we were actually going to get into today was we were talking in the car about a week or so ago.
What's Christmas?
Yeah, about a week or so ago.
Christmas was no week ago.
What's today's date?
Now going into 31st because we're kind of filming late at night. But it was the 30th. We were on the 30th.
And that was a little bit before Christmas.
No, we were talking about that. It's not important. As I say, compromise. A week sounds so long. Like, this is fresh. Like, we were just.
Because, this is what? The 31st? So let's just say it's on Christmas, 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th, 31st.
Well, somewhat a week, but we just now going into the 31st. Like, the 31st was born by midnight.
But I did say about a week or so ago. So it's sort of like
that's crazy.
That's like a give or take estimate.
All right, I see what you're saying. Because yeah, it's 2022 just need a speeding ticket.
Yeah, you good? You set to go? All right, come on.
Yeah.
Back on topic.
Yeah.
We were talking in the car about a week or so ago in regards to a topic. I don't remember how it came to mind, but the topic was, I thought it was interesting how people, generally speaking, choose their spouse or the person that they're in a relationship with based off of their current state at that moment. So, for example, like people choose people that are to a degree complementary to them at that moment, and that can be positive or negative. Um, and I gave the example of myself, not only myself, but just tons of people that I've seen, whether they're friends, family members, whomever. Oftentimes, some of our like first relationships are reflections of the uh, the things that we may lack in the moment. And it can be a lack of wisdom. It could be a lack of understanding. It could be a lack of security, discipline. It could be a lack of a lot of different things. And so, generally speaking, we may choose people based off of that specific lack. And the example of myself was going back and looking at different things being young and having wisdom, because I've always to a degree been more wise than the average person, and I've gotten tons of people to always tell me, even when I was young, like, "Oh, you're a really wise young man." But I believe that I lacked a sort of discipline when I was younger. So people that I chose to date or to be in relationships with were essentially uh, sort of a reflection of the lack of discipline that I had. So even if I had wisdom, I didn't have the discipline to use that wisdom in a positive manner. Because even though I knew better, I didn't choose to do better in most cases.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing that I was mentioning to her when we were talking about it, it's interesting to see how the person that you're with is a reflection of yourself, and seeing, again, friends, family members, and things like that that struggle with these things, and being a person that struggled with those things before, it puts me in a better position to try to now help people and guide people to get to where they should be, based off of balancing that wisdom, discipline, or anywhere it is that they lack. Because the sooner you can acknowledge those things or start practicing how to improve those things that you lack in, the better and the sooner you'll be in, a better relationship or a better situation it is that you could be in or should be in.
Yeah.
Did you have something to say about that?
Yeah, no, I think I agree with you. I think that um everybody has had their moments and experiences where like you said earlier, where better, but you don't choose to do better. And especially, and that's different areas in life, but with us talking about relationships tonight, you see that a lot. And I have learned and seen also with other people that I knew, and even myself, but the common mistake is people sacrificing long term benefit for temporarily benefits.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that is not, those temporary fulfillments are not fulfilling or solid.
Yeah.
You have some people that, well, I think this girl's cute. I think this guy is cute, Um, I'm just gonna do whatever. And now we have, in this time and day and age, the saying of here for a good time, not a long time. And that's where you start to create a cycle for not only yourself, but the person that is involved with you, to come from a place of hurt, and they take that hurt to new opportunities, new people, new chances of finding something solid. But now that you have kind of bring what we call baggage to something new, now it jeopardizes making that into something temporary. Not so much of, oh, here for a good time, not a long time, but now two people don't know how to uh, codepend on each other, because that's another thing that a lot of people don't know with us being married. Usually it's all about submission, which it is a big important thing, but one of the top things in relationship is know how to coexist together with your skill sets and just characters, period. Because if you're two different polar opposites, that takes compromise too. it's
Yeah.
it's so much to go into a relationship for your people of all ages to just be like, oh, it's a relationship. Like, you have to really lay down foundational um bricks together, versus one person is just there because they want to have, a one night stand. This is getting to me, so I forgot we can say things like that. So
Okay, so I wanted to bring up the scripture that was essentially, um, it's like a foundational piece that I sort of took and understood deeper on a much more deeper level later rather than sooner. So now, like when I speak to people um, that sort of have things to where they can relate to my story or things to where I can relate to their story or whatever, I sort of go in the direction of this passage. And it's 2 Corinthians 6:14. Some of you are familiar with it. Do not be yoked together with unbelievers, for what do righteousness and wickedness have in common? Or what fellowship can light have with darkness? And everybody understands, or everybody has heard the whole concept of not being unequally yoked, even myself, but nobody really considers how deep that is. Nobody really thinks about the scale of how much that can either mess you up or benefit you. So I think just the aspect of, let's just say, just look at it as scales. If you have something that's down here and up here, it's unequal. It's simple. This is something that we simply understand. But we have to start thinking of our morals that same way because oftentimes, especially when we're younger, we like what we see, we like what we hear, and then we choose people based off of the things that we're attracted to, whether with our eyes, our ears, or whatever senses it is we have. Oh, they have these good traits, or they're nice, or this is and that, they talk sweet. But getting to the meat of the situation, what are your morals? What are their morals? What is the core foundation of your belief, your faith? Does theirs match with you? And if you have this imbalance, those are telltale signs or red flags for what you should and should not go for. And oftentimes we either settle or we just make bad, irrational, stupid decisions and choose individuals based off of our initial emotions.
Yeah.
And so choosing a partner has to be deeper than what you feel, but rather the fruit that you see.
And can I say something on that? Because that's really good because, you know, for those that don't know what, being yoked is, especially in this day and time, it sounds ancient, but it's basically being around a person that's like minded as you and have the same vision. Because it's important to have a vision, especially if you are one to eventually you consider yourself to get married one day. Um, you have to be on the same goal. You can't. It's kind of like football. You're a
Mm-hmm.
big football guy. You can't be on Dallas team one day and like, yeah, we're gonna do this together, and then on the Patriots the next day because it's just gonna put a strain on the relationship. That's why it's so important to be what is called in the Bible equally yoked, just equally mindset. Um, to serve each other because it's about servitude and it's not about self. So I just wanted to point that out that it's really important to be equal because it's going to put a strain and you see relationships like that where one spouse or one partner will excuse the other person's wrongdoing like, well, she was upset so it's fine. That's going to stress you out and there's going to be days where the relationship is difficult, but the difficulty should not come from and be the source from your own relationship, but maybe the things that will um try to attempt to attack the relationship. That's where the
Mm-hmm.
relationship becomes difficult and how y'all navigate together. Y'all should not create difficulty out of scratch, from
Yeah.
scratch, out of nowhere. That is a good tell sign. If you're constantly making drama out of nowhere within either your household or in your relationship, that might be a red flag as far as not being equally mindset and working as a team. Because it's all about being a team mindset.
Yeah. I want to go off of that too because you mentioned like the aspect or the concept of the football teams. I think I would liken it onto like being on the same team or supposedly being on the same team. Well, let's just say, okay, the game plan is to play conservative and QB is throwing, shorter passes to play it safe. But you're the hot shot wide receiver. It's like, no, throw it to me deep. I'm open. Throw it to me. Throw me the ball every time I'm open. This and that. Having a selfish mindset, you're going to put the team at risk to maybe cause an interception or maybe just go three and out. And when it comes to working as a team, you have to be on the same page. You have to execute together. Whatever it is that I can provide, you have to sort of complement that. You don't want to be having a selfish mindset or choose someone that has a selfish mindset. When you're trying to do things and build for the family, the kids, or whatever the case is, but your person, whether male or female, husband or wife, wants to go out or party or do things for themselves or doing things to feed their own flesh, those are things that you want to look out for. When they do things more in accordance to them rather than accordance to us or as a unit, then those are things that you essentially want to consider other things. Likewise, on a football team, typically when you have like a receiver or something like that, that hot shot diva receiver, they deal with you for a little bit as long as you're performing, but they typically don't last long term for teams that are trying to actually get somewhere. So that's something that has to deeply be considered when in the dating field or looking to marry someone, or it can be business relationships, it can be friendships, it can just be family members. You have to observe the people the people that it is that you're going to be around in general. You have to look at their fruit.
I would put it like this too, because some of us, I will be one. I don't know all the football terms, so I'm thinking for all y'all that are non-football knowledge people. Don't worry, I'm I'm one. I will admit. Uh, Piggybacking off what you said, as far as it doesn't even have to go for relationship or friendships. Whatever there's a purpose or a vision that two parties or more agree on, you want to make sure that you focus on that. Whether it's friendships, being best friends, if you're gonna be friends and y'all both want to be there for each other, put down the bricks. Maybe one puts down a brick, being there for you, will give you gas money. Put down the cement, making that house solidify for that friendship of being there. Maybe they're having a bad day, take them for lunch. Like there, it has to be a balance. But with us being on the topic for relationships tonight, that would have to be a different video for a different time for friendships. Relationships, you have, we're a team. He might put down the bricks for some things, I put down the cement. And if that keeps going, you start to build what becomes a wall. Then a wall becomes the first half of the house. The next thing you know, you have a whole palace. So that's important to ask questions in the early dating stage and kind of just pick the person's brain. And you don't even have to commit. Committing is when you know you I would say after the talking stage, like when we met, um, it was just a lot of talking. It was just playing it cool, wasn't rushing. We both been in relationships that we were like, I'm good off that. You know, if it come, I'm gonna let it come. I'm not gonna come and find it no more. I'm not doing that. And it's funny when it's true when you don't look for it, it does find you fairly quickly. It found me fairly quickly. And we just talked. Let things naturally fall into place because that's more beautiful versus you try to rush the process. You don't get to enjoy the process of feeling giddy, like, oh, is this the one? Or, getting spending the time with that person to just get to know them as a friend. Because if you guys can't even
Have
be,
a purpose.
yeah, if you can't be friends first, then the relationship is not gonna last because there is more to it. You heard it here. There is more to a relationship than sex. It will not keep the relationship together.
Yeah.
That will get old fairly quickly. Too much of a good thing can become a bad and old thing. And we live in a microwave society now where it's like, all right, I'm bored of this. They seem like they have an iPhone every other month.
I want to go off of that too. I would say when it comes to that, um, don't you have to be careful with the what you said as the foundation of your relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you set the foundation of your relationship as, oh, we met at the club or a party, whatever the case is, and it's founded off of lust,
Yeah.
sex, that fun, excitement feeling or whatever the case is, then you get caught up and committed to just that.
Yeah.
The sex, the fun, exciting feeling and all that stuff. And when things get hard, then it's like, oh, I'm gonna leave you, I'm gonna do this, you go on a break, you cheat, whatever the case is, because you have no solid foundation. When you date with a purpose or try to get to know someone with a purpose, and you start from the foundation of, again, your faith, considering your faith is, strong,
Top tier.
then that's what you want to be the actual foundation. Otherwise, it's like building a house on sand or on mud. It'll stick around for a little bit, but the moment it rains a little too hard, it's all downhill. So you don't want to focus on, again, the emotions. You don't want to focus on the fake, the fugazi stuff, the stuff that really doesn't last long. And a lot of people get the aspect of love confused because they think love is an emotion.
Mm-hmm.
You really don't or can't possibly experience love until you experience the fullness of actively wanting to be selfless for another individual,
Absolutely.
which generally speaking, you can only do once you get to know someone. I
Yeah.
mean, you can technically do it for someone you don't know,
Mm-hmm.
but when it comes to a relationship, the true definition of love comes from longevity. It has to be something that's shown. It's an action word. It's not, oh, I felt this way, or you make me feel this way, or whatever cases, I love you. It's more so a thing of taking the initiative to actively show selflessness and sacrifice for another person. It has to be continuously shown.
Actions based on outside of self and self desires, because we are, will we still be considered newlyweds?
Yeah.
As newlyweds and being together in overall 2 years, almost 2 years now, um, love looks like when you're right, but you don't want to create an argument because you're right. But sometimes love is listening, even though you're right, and you navigate together. Um, what's the word? Because I saw somebody said that too, where it's not focusing on you're right, but what is right. That's what it was.
Even though I'm always right, but I definitely get what you're saying.
This is love. Silence. I'm gonna need Facebook to fact check that though, because but it's doing stuff that you put the welfare for the other person before your own, emotionally, spiritually, physically, and mentally. That's when you know you love
And
somebody.
sometimes financially, oftentimes, especially for the men. Uh, you hear a lot of situations where, the man wants to build his man cave or, put all this into his car or, go out and do all these things. Sometimes you just got to be still. Sometimes it is not the right choice for you to go in and spend that $1,000 on your new subwoofers or your speakers and things like that. You have to be financially responsible and selfless also. I just wanted to add that in there because I know a lot of people have bad spending habits, gambling or wasting money. And it's for both parties, men and women, just bad habits in general.
Yeah. Yeah. And it just goes hand in hand. It's, I think that's a great way to sum up love, is that you put yourself last, and just always seeking the well-being and the benefit, for the benefit of the other person. Because if you think about it, especially in a marriage, if I have his back and I'm focused on that about 99.9% of the time, and his duty, um God instructed speaking, is to care for me and to love me and protect me, and I'm supposed to listen to him, If we're both doing our jobs, you'll never feel that I'm doing this for him. I'm submitting to you, but you're not doing nothing for me. Because if he's doing his job, I'm not going to complain. He's not going to complain either if I'm doing my job. And that's a lot of relationships these days that have problems and may complain, well, I'm doing this, but she's not doing this. Or I've been doing this, but he's still doing the same thing. And it's important that both parties know from the get-go. If you set up y'all foundation right in the beginning stages, it will be more of a fortified, solid house, rock, whatever you want to think about metaphorically speaking. It's going to stand better when those harder times hit the house versus you don't set up your foundation solid in the beginning. The first blow is going to blow the house down because it doesn't know how you both don't know how to properly navigate difficulty. You couldn't navigate the simple things because it's not easy. But if you have that mindset of serving each other, it will seem easy. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I would say I agree 100%. Um, but honestly, I think that was really the gist of that individual topic. We definitely have a lot more topics that we're going to be going over. This is sort of just like just putting the butter on the toast, just the beginning. We got a whole lot more topics to go over. Again, going into apologetics, diving deep into the Bible, things that we know, and then deeper things about the things that we know that we thought we knew but didn't know and need to know more. All types of stuff.
What?
No, the face she was making.
I mean, it's the truth though. It really is. Cause I'm about tired of it, and it's really leading so a lot of people astray. I wanted to read something big before we end out.
Yeah, what you got?
The definition of love.
I was actually I was about to pull that up
You
too.
were trying to copy me.
Go ahead, go
It's
ahead.
late. I'm trying to listen. I should have been in bed, but it was very important to the both of us to make this video for you guys because we, our hearts, I don't know about yours. I would say, and correct me if I'm wrong, I would say both our hearts get kind of saddened when we hear the stories of failed relationships or people being broken by things that either you shouldn't have been in the first place or things where it was right for the season, but it was going about the wrong way. So, the definition of love, you want to read it?
You can read this one.
Okay, so the definition of love, according to First Corinthians chapter 13, verses 4 through, I'm going to say 8. It says, love is patient, love is kind, love does not envy, is not boastful, is not arrogant, is not rude, is not self seeking, is not irritable, and does not keep a record of wrongs. That is a very important skill to practice in marriage. Do not keep records of wrong. It's
Yeah.
it's not it's just not worth it.
Even though you do wrong so many times. Like last week, you did like a couple of things. It was like 5 individual times. But you've done a lot better. I'm not counting though. But just know that it was 5 times.
I was thirsty. Continuing and from part of 5, and does not keep a record of wrongs. Love finds no joy in unrighteousness, but rejoices in the truth. Verse 7, it bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. And especially if you, I think we forgot to mention the most important pre of a foundation is God. God is love. And when your relationship foundation is found based on God. Because I would say we connected not because of, oh girl, I like her body, or oh he fine and his it's sweatpants season. It was more
The
of
size of your head. I was like, dang, that's a big head. Let me, try and help you out. And so since then, it just kind of took over. And we've been like this. That wasn't it. No. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. What was you saying?
mm, love bears all things. I was saying we were connected. That's factual on our faith, because that was something I think we were both in a time where it was difficult. We were tired doing things, trying to work things out, figure things out on our own before we met, and was had both had a period of, God, I just want you at this point, because everybody else about to get slapped. At least that was my translation. So when you pursue God, He adds things that are right, because everybody's desires is not good, but the desires that He will honor, He will give. And I think both our desire at the time was just having that person that complement our, each other's personality and life vision, because everybody has a life vision.
I would say even deeper than that. My biggest focus prior to meeting you was essentially letting go. Well, the saying is letting go and letting God, but really taking that serious. Like everybody says the saying, but really
Let go,
letting
let
go
God.
of what my mental expectations or requirements were, and just allowing for Him to present someone who balanced or was equally yoked to my faith, my beliefs, my moral foundation, the things that I wanted to do, accomplish in life, family goals, and all that stuff. And that was really the foundation of our relationship. And again, we dated with a purpose and asked a lot of questions. And because it was mutual, it was no problem. So that's the other thing. A lot of people are afraid to ask the good, deep questions when dating. Like, oh, I don't want to turn them off, or I don't want them to run away, or oh, if I ask them about God, I don't
The
want them to
right
think
one won't
that's
run away.
right. The right one is not
Because
going to run
I
away.
sure asked him a bunch of questions. I interrogated
Think
him.
of it like a job interview. It's no different. If you're going to commit your time and dedication to a job,
You need to know
and
these
if
things.
they're going to hire you long term, they need to know about you, your history, what you're doing, what you like, personality traits, and vice versa to see if it's a good fit. And like a job, if we're going to commit to each other, especially long term, looking to get married and have kids and build a family and lifestyle, you have to vet each other out. You have to
Mm-hmm.
interview each other and ask as many questions as you can.
And to see if they will even survive the first 3 months, which we need to do another video. We're not going to have time to do it in this one, but we need to talk about the importance of, and from both sides, of virginity.
Yeah, that's a big
Because when we were dating, I had no sex, whatever the girl said on TikToks. Um, we didn't, and it was shocking to so many people. Okay, I think to the point it's like, I think it was kind of shady and like suddenly, not suddenly, subtly asked of me like, is you gay? Like, what's wrong? Like, is he not? And it wasn't that. It's just when you have a purpose and a vision, you stick to that. It is truly worth the wait. Because what if you give up the goods early? It's not the person for you. You have a kid together. You got to deal with that person for the next 18 years.
at least.
Like, think of the last ex you had and that you did not have a child with. And think about if you would have had a child with him or her. Would you really want to be in that position? Would it not be worth it to just kind of like say no to your natural handsy desires, to save future self, to be mad at you, was like, I ain't never should have did that. This one for the birds. verbs.
So that's about it for this topic. Like I said, we got a ton more topics that we're going to be going over in the near future. We want to make some more time to get these videos made, post more videos. But as far as this one goes, that's about it. We'll probably go deeper into this topic in different aspects in future videos. I have a list of topics that we'll be going over. So this is just the beginning, and from here forth, we will be continuing to get to the meat.
And while we get to the meat and important topics, if you have any questions, I think it's important for anybody to see the video to comment down below of what you would like to see us talk about, or it might be a question that you wonder about. We ain't gonna judge. This is about being transparent and getting into the meat. So if you have any questions, probably end up gather all the questions, do a Q&A, because we want to help y'all. Because it's hard out here.
Yeah.
It's hard out here.
So that is it for this video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.